getting the facts right. This is WCTI News Channel 12 at 6.
Tires are slashed in an Onslow County neighborhood. Now the search is on for whoever is responsible.
No jail time for Bo Bergdahl. Reaction to the sentence that left many shocked.
And a recall alert for a popular fire extinguisher made in our state. What you need to know if there's one in your home.
How furious would this make you, waking up to find all of the tires slashed on your car? It happened to more than a dozen vehicles in one neighborhood in our area. And
Swansboro police tonight are looking into who damaged all these tires. News Channel 12's Mary Lee Moore speaks to the vehicle owners who are now left paying for the damage.
This is Glancy Street in Swansboro. Many residents who live off this road are dumbfounded that someone would go in the middle of the night slashing their tires.
A lot of us don't even lock our doors when we go to bed at night, but obviously last night we started a new habit.
This tight-knit Swansboro community is now taking extra precautions that didn't feel necessary until this week.
There's folks that have lived here all their life. They're 60, 70 years old, and they've never seen this before, so we're all very surprised.
John Davis says he, along with about 18 of his neighbors, made a shocking discovery on Thursday.
We woke up that morning and got ready. My wife got ready to back the car up, and it wouldn't back up. That's when we started learning that so many, like 10 of my tires were flat. It's actually a knife puncture. If you look right there, that little slit.
Those small punctures now causing a big financial headache.
If I replaced everything new, probably $1,500, $2,000.
While Davis has a few theories about who might be responsible.
Anything from kids, teenagers, that sort of thing, maybe gang initiation or something like that.
For now, he's left with more questions than answers.
Nothing real substantial right now. Everybody's pretty surprised.
Surprised, but taking action to prevent something like this from happening again.
So all of us are talking about adding more lights so we can see. I think we have one street light down there and then one over there, and that's really all we've got. So we're all kind of talking about a little bit more illumination.
Swansboro police are still investigating this incident. In Onslow County, Mary Lee Moore, News Channel 12.
We have reached out to the Swansboro Police Department tonight for an update on the investigation. We'll let you know more details when they're uncovered.
I'm meteorologist Donnie Cox in Greenville. We are at the Convention Center, and it is a Down East holiday show. Look at all the folks down through here starting to make their way in, and the crowd expected to grow as we go through the evening hours. And it should be good weather for folks to get on out. In fact, take a look at the temperatures right now across the region. We have finally made it below the 80-degree mark in many locations. Still at 81, though, right now in Kinston, 79 in Jacksonville, and here in Greenville, 75 in Washington, 78 in Newbern, 72 as you make your way out on the point at Cape Hatteras. Now, the radar, all clear out there. Nothing happening across the region. It is a gorgeous night out there. Looks like that we'll see a few clouds sneak in later on this evening. Could be some patchy fog as well. Keep that in mind. Be on the alert for that. Otherwise, the hour by hour temperatures will slowly fall from the low 70s to the low 60s by the time we get a little later in the evening. Now, again, I am at the Down East Holiday Show in Greenville. The show goes on all weekend long, tonight until 9 o'clock, noon, or I should say 10 o'clock until 6 o'clock tomorrow, then noon until 5 on Sunday. In fact, Val will be here on Sunday, so come on out. Plenty of great ideas for your holiday list or just planning those holiday parties.
Reaction tonight as Bo Bergdahl avoids prison. A military judge rules the 5 years Bergdahl was held by the Taliban was punishment enough for abandoning his post in Afghanistan. Prosecutors were pushing for 14 years in prison. A judge today, though, announced Sergeant Bergdahl will not serve prison time, nor will he serve his country anymore. He will be dishonorably discharged and pay a $1,000 monthly fine. The defense plans to appeal that based on President Trump's comments about Bergdahl.
Beyond that, if you feel that something fundamentally unfair has happened, and I am talking about President Trump now, that the judicial process has been distorted for improper, thoughtless reasons that are basically inimical to our way of life and the rule of law in our country, then you appeal.
The president tweeted today that Bergdahl's sentence is a complete disgrace, but do keep in mind his sentence is merely a recommendation at this point. The Army general has the final say.
I spoke this afternoon with ABC Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross. He has followed this Bergdahl case from the very beginning, and I asked Brian for his reaction to today's sentencing.
I think many in the military were stunned by the decision, but others told me that he spent 5 years essentially in prison by the Taliban, tortured, beaten, horribly treated, and they said that as bad as what happened there was, he had been punished enough.
Now tonight at 10 o'clock on News Channel 12, the subject on ABC News 2020 is ISIS in America, Homegrown Terrorism. Join ABC's Diane Sawyer for an in-depth look at how terror groups are recruiting young Americans into their organizations. 10 o'clock tonight on ABC News 2020.
If your fire extinguisher has a plastic handle or a push-button activator, you'll want to hear this. The U.S. government says a person died in 2014 when an extinguisher made by North Carolina manufacturer Kidde did not go off as first responders were trying to put out a car fire.
Well, more than 40 million locally made fire extinguishers are being recalled because they might not work in an emergency. News Channel 12 Stephanie Brown is live in Greenville tonight with what you need to know about your fire extinguisher at home. Stephanie?
The fire extinguishers that Greenville firefighters use aren't part of the recall, but yours at home might be. Lieutenant Alfred Everington says you should contact Kidde directly through their website or 800 number to see if yours is on the list so you can get a safe replacement. But even if it's not on the list, he says you should be performing regular checks on your extinguisher at home.
Monthly check, and some of the things to look for would be if there's a pressure gauge on the fire extinguisher, check, make sure it's in the green.
A fire extinguisher serviceman who tells me you should be getting your extinguisher recharged every 6 years, no matter which kind you have. And remember, you can only use a fire extinguisher once, then you'll have to get it recharged again. And Lieutenant Everton tells me if you're one of those people whose extinguisher has been recalled, you should probably get a backup as a replacement just to be safe. And he also says to make sure your smoke detectors are working properly and never leave cooking unattended. Reporting live in Greenville, Stephanie Brown for News Channel 12.
Good checklist right there, whether we have a recalled extinguisher or not. And if you're still not sure whether yours is part of the recall, you can visit our website or mobile app. We'll show you where you can find out.
Making sure your kids get the education they need can start at the legislative level. A legislative breakfast gave Craven County educators a chance to express their concerns to lawmakers. News Channel 12's Aisha Bo breaks down some of the possible solutions.
This breakfast was a chance for key players in education to come together and express some of those concerns and what exactly to do about it. And one of the more important issues they discussed here was those class sizes requirements and how exactly principals are going to execute that.
The law will go into effect at the start of the 2018 school year. Principals are asking legislators for more flexibility on the class size caps put on K through 3rd grade because they say some schools just don't have the numbers.
Even now in this current school year, we have a few shortages in some of our schools. So just looking to the future with what's projected with this legislation would cause us to have a lot of need for more teachers.
The change could also affect arts and physical education classes, so they're asking lawmakers for more support to save those. Representative Speciali was the only one in attendance. He says they are aware of teacher shortages and are looking into solutions to get more people to want to choose the profession.
Right there. So what does it tell you they want?
So we'll probably look at some kind of incentive programs to get people to think about going into teaching.
So the idea here is for the representative to take those concerns back to his colleagues in Raleigh to make sure some things get done here to address these issues. Reporting in Craven County, I'm Aisha Bo for News Channel 12.
Also at the top of legislators' list, legislation needed for substitutes and retirees and local control of the school calendar. Educators say all three would provide a better learning experience for kids.
Building bridges between teenagers and law enforcement officers, the subject of today's Onslow County Youth and Law Enforcement Forum. High school kids from across the county gathered together with Jacksonville Police, the Sheriff's Office, and state troopers. And the students asked questions about different laws and what it's like to be in law enforcement. We caught up with one student who is thinking about becoming an officer when he graduates.
A few weeks ago, I was talking to one of the sheriffs at my school, and I was asking him how to get into like policing and whatnot. And then this program, they were just like, you want to come to this police interview thingy? So I came here. It's been a blast since. It's pretty fun.
Jonathan and the rest of the students learned a lot today. This forum began last year as a way for students to build positive relationships with law enforcement officers.
The Craven County Fair ends this Sunday, and volunteers are showing their appreciation for fair workers. They made hot soups, sandwiches, even desserts for the workers to enjoy this morning. They also provided them with jackets and pants they might need going into the winter months. Volunteers serve the workers meals twice a day while that fair is in town, and they also form friendships with them.
Smiles on their face as they leave our area. Well, Emerald Isle is getting a new park.
Our own Nate Belt spent his day exploring the wooded area.
We are in Greenville. It is the Down East Holiday Show. We're getting ready for a big event going on all weekend long, and I'll check your forecast coming up in a couple of minutes, but I have to tell you, I'm being checked out if I'm naughty or nice with that forecast. Show you coming up in a couple of minutes.